the term woke. You've heard it everywhere. It's a word that has permeated our daily lives, appearing in news headlines, on our social media feeds, and in our casual conversations. It's being used in politics, in schools, and in the workplace. It has sparked debates, ignited movements, and even caused divisions among friends and families. But what does it actually mean? Where did it come from? And why has it become so controversial? Let's take a look at the history of this word. Its important origins, original meaning, its current use and misuse, and how it has become the go-to political weapon. From its roots in the civil rights movements to its current usage in political rhetoric, the journey of the word woke is as complex as it is fascinating. Please do like and subscribe. Remember, every mickle, mecca muckle. Let's get into it. The journey of the word woke starts in the early 20th century. It has a rich and complex history that intertwines with the struggles and triumphs of African American communities over the decades. Originally part of African American Vernacular English, or AAV, woke literally meant to be awake. However, its significance goes far beyond the literal sense. It became a term that encapsulated a heightened awareness of the social and political issues affecting African Americans. It was used metaphorically to mean being alert to social and political injustices. This metaphorical use of woke became a powerful tool for activism and solidarity, especially during the civil rights movements of the 20th century. It was a call to stay informed and to be vigilant against the systemic inequalities that plagued society. But where did it first gain popularity? Well, in 1938, the term appeared in popular culture when singer Lead Belly used it in his song Scottsboro Boys. This song was about a group of 9 African-American teenagers who were falsely accused of raping 2 white women in Alabama in 1931. The boys, aged 13 to 19, were arrested after a fight broke out on a train traveling through Alabama. 2 white women on the train, Ruby Bates and Victoria Price, accused them of rape. The trials were conducted in Scottsboro, Alabama, amidst intense racial prejudice and mob hostility. The defendants were convicted by all-white juries, despite a lack of evidence and conflicting testimonies from the women. Sentences ranged from long prison terms to death. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned the convictions twice. In Powell v. Alabama, 1932, they ruled that the defendants had been denied the right to adequate legal representation. And in Norris v. Alabama, 1935, they found that the exclusion of African Americans from juries violated the defendants' rights. Despite these Supreme Court rulings, retrials led to new convictions or plea bargains for these disenfranchised youngsters. Some spent years in prison, while others escaped or were eventually paroled. Over time, historians and civil rights advocates have highlighted their case as a stark example of the systemic racism in the American legal system. In 2013, over 80 years later, Alabama issued posthumous pardons to the remaining defendants, formally acknowledging the miscarriage of justice. So Leadbelly's use of woke with the line, "Stay woke, keep your eyes open," was a poignant reminder of the need for constant vigilance in the face of severe racial, civil, and legal injustices. This is the earliest mass use of the word, urging awareness of social and political dynamics that affect their lives. By the 1960s, during the civil rights movement, being woke had become a rallying cry for awareness. While the exact word woke may not have appeared prominently in speeches or writings, the idea of staying woke was central to the message of vigilance against racial injustice. Phrases like "stay awake" or "stay vigilant" were often used by leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Literature and poetry from the era, such as James Baldwin's essays and Langston Hughes's work, embodied the principles of being awake to the realities of inequality. Activists used the term to describe the need to stay informed about systemic racism and fight against oppression. In African American communities, particularly those involved in grassroots organizing, woke or related phrases were likely part of the vernacular, encouraging awareness of systemic racism and police brutality. Fast forward to the 2010s, and the word saw a resurgence with the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement. Social media amplified its use, turning woke into a broader term for awareness of various social justice issues, including race, gender, LGBTQ+ rights, and climate justice. However, as the term grew in popularity, it also began to draw criticism, and this is where it can get confusing. Depending on the context, Woke can be a badge of honor, or it can be a dismissive insult, or even something somewhat in between. Its meaning can shift dramatically based on who is using it and who it is targeting, making it one of the most debated words of our time. Let's explore how politicians have weaponized the word in more recent years. In the United States, woke rhetoric has become a key battleground in political discourse. Politicians use woke as shorthand for larger issues like social justice, identity politics, and cultural change. For some, it positively signals awareness of social inequities, aligning them with progressive voters. For others, using woke as a criticism resonates with those who feel alienated by rapid cultural shifts or progressive policies. The current president has frequently used it to attack these progressive policies, describing them as woke ideology that are undermining traditional American values in order to appeal to his MAGA base. He often associates woke with political correctness, cancel culture, and what he perceived as excessive liberalism. In his 2020 Independence Day speech at Mount Rushmore, he denounced the left-wing cultural revolution and warned against, quote, a merciless campaign to wipe out our history, defame our heroes, erase our values, and indoctrinate our children. And then, in his 2025 inaugural address, he declared, quote, a revolution of common sense, stating, there are only two genders, and then going on to criticize diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, also known as DEI. This consistent critique of woke culture has resonated with many Americans who felt uneasy about the rapid social changes happening around them. When criticizing woke corporate practices, such as mandatory diversity training, he framed them as divisive and counterproductive. This approach appealed to those who felt these initiatives unfairly labeled individuals as privileged or oppressive based on their race or gender. By opposing these changes and labeling them as woke overreach, he tapped into a sense of cultural and economic alienation, reinforcing his image as someone defending the values and identity of those who felt left behind in a rapidly shifting cultural landscape. But Trump is not alone. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis took this a step further with legislation like the Stop Woke Act, aiming to restrict discussions of systemic racism and gender identity in schools. His rallying cry, Florida is where woke goes to die, appealing to conservatives who see woke policies as overreach. So, has there been use of the term woke for a more positive outlook on American politics, you may ask? Well, let's take a look. In a 2023 opinion piece, former Atlanta Mayor Maynard Jackson reflected on the term woke, describing it as embodying awareness, caring, and a commitment to societal betterment. He emphasized that being woke meant being conscious of one's responsibilities to the community and society at large. And former Vice President Kamala Harris, during her tenure as a U.S. Senator in 2017, engaged in discussions that aligned with the principles of being woke, emphasizing the importance of awareness and proactive engagement in social justice issues. Senator Bernie Sanders has expressed nuanced views regarding the term woke in politics. In a 2024 interview, he emphasized the importance of the Democratic Party focusing on the needs of the working class, suggesting that an overemphasis on a woke agenda might alienate some voters. He stated, Trump has done a good job in claiming that Democrats do nothing more than the woke agenda, and highlighted the need for the party to address economic disparities and represent the working class. Across the Atlantic, the term has also found its way into British politics. Former Prime Minister Theresa May recently identified herself as woke in a positive light. While promoting her book The Abuse of Power, in a September 2023 interview with Times Radio, she's quoted as aligning with the definition of someone who recognizes that discrimination occurs. She stated, I am, yeah. It's a bit like being asked in the old days, was I a feminist? Well, I wore a t-shirt that said, this is what a feminist looks like. Her self-identification as woke reflects her acknowledgement of ongoing discrimination and her advocacy for a sensitive approach to complex social issues. Meanwhile, other conservative politicians and media outlets use woke as a pejorative to criticize progressive movements, framing them as a departure from traditional British values. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has spoken against woke cancel culture, arguing it stifles free speech. Home Secretary Suella Braverman has also condemned what she calls woke policing, criticizing police forces for engaging in social justice campaigns instead of focusing on crime. And it's not just the United States and the United Kingdom. Around the world, the term woke has begun to take on political traction. Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, is the most recent to have publicly condemned wokeism. Speaking at the World Economic Forum, he described it as a cancer threatening Western civilization. In the EU, French President Emmanuel Macron has also weighed in, criticizing what he called woke culture imported from the United States, arguing that it undermines French secularism and traditions. So with all this back and forth, up and down and ins and out of the term woke, where does this leave us? On one hand, being woke represents a commitment to justice, equality, and inclusion. On the other hand, critics argue it's gone too far, stifling free speech and traditional values. For some, supporting woke policies means advocating for systemic change, like gender-neutral bathrooms or climate justice. For others, opposing wokeism is about defending personal responsibility and meritocracy. So whether you embrace woke culture or critique it, the term has undeniably become a significant part of our modern lexicon. It sparks conversations, debates, and even conflicts across various platforms and communities. One thing is clear: this small word carries a lot of weight. It has transcended its original meaning and now encompasses a wide range of social and political issues. From racial equality to gender rights, environmental activism to economic justice, woke has become a rallying cry for many. It has evolved from a call for vigilance in the fight against racial injustice to a deeply polarizing concept shaping global politics. Today, it influences political discourse, media narratives, and even corporate policies. Politicians use it to rally their base, while critics argue it has been co-opted and diluted. The global impact of woke culture is undeniable, affecting everything from international relations to local community initiatives. What does woke mean to you? Is it a positive force for change, or has it become a term of division? Your perspective matters, and we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments below. Engage with us and share your thoughts, experiences, and insights. Your voice adds to the rich tapestry of this ongoing conversation. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the ideas shaping our world. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the complexities and nuances of the issues that matter most to you.